Maybe we should start today's video with a little bit of nature, like a cool little butterfly here. When it opens its wings, it is truly beautiful. We'll move on to our topic in just a moment. Well, now it is time to start talking about our topic, which is part 3 of a brief little series called Let's Stop Racism Today. And you can watch the first 2 parts by going to www.letsstopracismtoday.com with dashes in between the words. You'll see that on the screen here briefly. We talked about in the first video, the first part, how we really needed to get rid of the tags, get rid of the minority tags, the Hispanics, the blacks, the women, whatever minority tag happens to be on people. We got to get rid of that. All that does is foster this group against that. And in the second video, we talked a lot about getting rid of hyphenated Americans, because in the United States, you are either a citizen, you're a permanent resident, or you're not. And so to be a something hyphenated American just doesn't serve you well. We're Americans and we need to start thinking that way. If we think as one, then we have a chance of getting rid of racism. If we don't, we're always just constantly pitting one group against the other. And in the third video, what I really wanted to talk about has to do with what has been gone on in as long as man has been on this earth. So can we fix it here in the United States? I'm not sure. But it's basically class warfare. How the rich, the poor, the middle class. Who even knows what that means anymore? The government continually tries to define it because they want to tax people based on that. But when you have a situation in the United States where we're just at a tipping point, virtually half the people in the United States don't pay federal taxes and rely on the other half of the people to pay the taxes, that is a very unfair system. And guess what it causes? It causes class warfare. And if it happens to be that certain groups are in what may be called the rich class and other groups aren't there, well then there's going to be some perhaps racial tension from that. We got to eliminate that. Why is the federal government involved in our pockets and wallets? Why do they know what kind of income you or me or anybody else earns? It's none of their business. It should never be. And there goes that butterfly again. I'm glad we started with that. A little bit of nature is always good. As long as we pit people against each other based on their income, we will never get rid of some form of racism. And so we need to do that. So what's an alternative? There are lots of alternatives. A flat tax, which to me is a real halfway measure, because you don't get rid of the income tax. We need to abolish the IRS. There is absolutely no reason why the federal government should know how much money I make versus you. If you make more money, great. We're all equal citizens. We all get one vote. I shouldn't be taxed one way and you taxed another way. That just doesn't make any sense. What does, to me, I mentioned it on an earlier video, and you probably have heard something about it. It's called the fair tax, and the website is fairtax.org. And what that basically is, it's a consumption tax. We do away with the IRS. There is no more Internal Revenue Service. We can take all those agents and we can put them on the border and maybe stop some of our immigration issues. Just my idea. It is absolutely imperative that we make some major changes. Will this administration do it? I would doubt it. So there needs to be some support, congressional support, to get this thing out there. There are something like 142 reps in the United States Congress that back the fair tax. It's a consumption tax, which basically means if I decide I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy a Chevy Impala and spend whatever it is, $20,000, $25,000 on it, I'll pay, let's say, 20% tax on that. It's a sales tax. So I pay $5,000 in tax. You decide to go out and buy a $15,000 car. You pay 20% tax on that, and so you end up paying $3,000. That's the equity of it. That's the fairness of it. If I spend more money, I pay more in tax. only one time. That's one of the keys to it. You don't, the whole idea of the fair tax is not to every time somebody sells a car, there's another sales tax involved. Not at all. It's only on new things. To get the real details on this, please go to www.fairtax.org and check it out. I think when we're talking about racism and tensions between groups and things like that, you got to level the playing field. Everybody's got to play by the same rules. And in this country, that just isn't the case now. If you are considered low income, you have all kinds of benefits that you can turn to that other people are paying for. That's not how the United States was founded. We are individuals who seek individual freedom, and the whole role of government was not to prop up people. In times of need, that's what we have churches for. That's what we have social services for. And we can deal with those issues, but we can't create a class that is not equal and paying their fair share, and the fair tax is a way to do that. So yes, this has been a pitch for the fair tax. I just think it's something that we need to do to get everybody on a level playing field. You can't have equality if people aren't treated equally. So please, check that out. The last part of this is going to be the politics of racism, which are, they just won't let it go because it's a topic that can be used to the advantage of politicians. And to me, that is one of the more disgusting aspects of racism, and we'll talk about that in the next video. So thank you very much for watching. The website here, you can go and watch the other two videos if you'd like.